Hello, friends. Welcome. This is Patty Bennett. How are you today? We have some beautiful cards to make together. I'm going to be showing you 3 ways that I used the Stampin' Up! Happy Hibiscus Bundle. There is a stamp set, there are dies, and there is a hybrid embossing folder. We're going to look at all of that, and I am excited to share all these different ways that you can use this bundle. And you know me, well, if you know me, you know that I love the flowers, and so it has to be all about the flowers, right? Because that is just so fun for me. So while you are jumping on, if you see the red live button up there, you're joining me live on my business Facebook page. If you don't see that, then you're watching a replay, which is great. I was just turning on one more light over there that I forgot to turn on. That's better. And if you are watching a replay, you might be on my blog, you might be on my Facebook page, you might be on my YouTube channel. I try to go back and check your comments, but I especially love reading your comments live. So if you're watching live, say hello. And then if you have questions while we are crafting today, I would love to help you. And as usual, I have lots more tips for you besides just the 3 cards that we're making, and talking about the color theory with the color wheel. We'll be talking about a tip for mounting your hibiscus stamp. And I even have, it's kind of almost sort of half related, but I'm going to be showing you a tip just because we're using two-tone cardstock with this thoughtful moments hybrid embossing folder. So I also have this to talk to you about, and well, we'll get to that later. Sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. All right, so hey, welcome everybody. Rhonda, Julie, hi Debbie. Oh good, Debbie is really looking forward to this. I'm glad, thank you. Hi Mary, 2 Marys. Hey Kelly, Renee, Randy, Terry, Shan. Hi everybody. Hi Anne, Stacy. I see so many of you jumping on. Welcome, welcome. Yes, the new color wheel is amazing. We're going to talk about the difference between these 2 color wheels and how you can get one and how I used it to create my cards today. All right, well, I think we are officially at the top of the hour, so I am going to go ahead and get started. Hang on, I need to know what is making that crazy shadow. Is it that? If I move that, does that shadow go away? Let me look. My feed is really, really delayed. Huh, that's weird. I'm seeing it really delayed, but anyway, no problem. We will move forward. Yep, that was the weird shadow. Okay. So, hi Nell. Hey Kelly. Hey Tracy. Hi Tammy. Good morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Patty Bennett, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I blog at pattystamps.com. I have about, 16 years worth of blog posts there with lots of inspiration for you. I have almost 500 videos on YouTube and lots of Stampin' Up! Cards and tips and color combos, all of those good things for you. One of the things I love sharing is about color. And Stampin' Up! Gave demonstrators who attended, it was called On Stage. It used to be called Convention 9 million years ago in Houston in March. They gave us this color wheel. And in the catalog, it talks about color theory. In fact, let me just grab that so I can show you. Because if you don't have the color wheel, you can look at this page. 132, 133 is a 2-page spread that has this color wheel and talks about color theory. So over the past several months, I have been posting lots of posts with different cards that I've made using monochromatic, complementary, analogous, and triadic colors. If you don't have the color wheel or you don't want to purchase it, you can use the information here and here to come up with some great color combinations. But this color wheel that they gave us was so popular. Everybody loved it. Everybody wanted one. So now Stampin' Up! Does sell this version. And the difference is this one does not have in colors. So it's a more timeless purchase. You wouldn't have to keep purchasing it every year, but it's easy enough. For instance, peach pie here is an in color on this one. It's easy enough to look over here and say, okay, peach pie kind of fits right around here. And when you are creating your own color combinations, it's not that hard to just sort of, let's say, mentally insert a color in here, if you know what I mean. So you can use this one. And today we're going to be talking about analogous colors. Okay. Analogous just means you kind of look at a piece of the pie. So like, let's look kind of here, and you pick out as many colors as you want within that piece of the pie. And they will just magically go together. And it doesn't matter how you move that wheel and where you go around the circle. If you just look at any 6 or 8 colors in kind of a row, shall we say, I know it's a circle, but you know what I mean, together, they will go together. And you can use this analogous window to just move around and to look and to see which colors are going to go together. And if it helps you, do what I just did. Just sort of block out everything else if that helps you. And you can say, all right, let's go with these blues and these blue greens. And that is going to be my color selection. So whatever helps your mind to look at this is fine. I picked, so if you kind of go, let's see here. So pumpkin pie to poppy parade. Okay, that is the color selection that I used. And I actually, on the very last one, moved it one more here and I threw in some melon mambo. But that was my color selection for these hibiscus cards. And I thought that it kind of best represented what I think of in my mind as hibiscus colors. And I know hibiscus flowers come in lots of colors. So you'll see on this last one that I kind of gave myself some creative license and expanded the colors, and we'll talk about that as well. But beyond color theory, because that maybe that's not what you're here for. Yes, Tammy says the patty color portion of the wheel. So what she's referring to is like real red to pumpkin pie right there. That is the patty. In fact, look, there we go, right there. Those are the patty colors. And I know some of you are not fond of that color selection. That's fine. You can look over here into the pinks and purples, or maybe you like the blues and the blue greens. Whichever section of the pie you like, it's the right answer, right? There's no wrong answer. So thank you, Tammy, for that. So if you're not here for color theory, no problem. We are going to get going here with the card making. So the Happy Hibiscus bundle and products. I know we've looked at this before. These are the online exclusives that released in the Stampin' Up! Online store on November 5th. So up at the top row here, you have the Happy Hibiscus stamp set. So that is available as a separate single purchase. You have the Happy Hibiscus Hybrid Embossing Folder Bundle. Well, that's a mouthful. So there is a beautiful embossing folder that we're going to use, and then there are matching dies, and I will show you how you can cut. You can put this right inside and you can cut and emboss all at once. We'll do that together. So that's this, the embossing folder and the dies is one code there. But then if you want all three, which I mean, I say, how can you kind of live without all three? Because I love hibiscus and I love flowers. Then you have your whole bundle. So this top row here shows you the three options: stamp set only, embossing folder, and dies only, or the get it all at a 10% discount. And funny enough, didn't plan this. This is just how it printed out. Here is the information for that color coach. I kind of call it a color wheel. They're calling it a color coach. So let's call it a color coach wheel. And you can purchase that in my online store with this code. And if you just go to pattystamps.com/shop, it should take you to shopping with me if you would like to select me as your demonstrator. So those are the supplies that we are going to use. And I'm going to start with the easiest one. And that is just simply embossing with the embossing folder to make a beautiful background. And so what I have here are my supplies to create this. I have a thick basic white card base, just your standard 4 1/4 by 8 1/2 scored in half. I have a Poppy Parade layer, and then I have, you've seen me use this before. This is the two-tone petal pink cardstock. They call it cardstock. To me, since it's not as thick as our cardstock, I keep wanting to say paper, but whatever you want to call it. But it is two-toned. So this is the lighter shade that's on the back, and here is the darker shade. So you can see both shades, and we'll use the darker one here. We're going to use the lighter side here. This is in the scrapbooking brochure, this two-tone paper. And this, let me see if I have that printed out. I should. And if you saw my mess, you'd know that it's somewhere over here. Oh, I do have it printed. So hang on just one second, because I want to show you. So it's part of this scrapbooking brochure, and it's with the fall paper. So I have used this selection of the two-tone cardstock. Oh, well, hang on. What page does that go with? Here we go. Autumn to Remember two-tone cardstock. It's 166499, and I'm just going to write it right here. Oh, this pen does not like my colored toner. That's really, really crazy. There we go. That's funky. Anyway, so the two-tone autumn selection has the petal pink that I'm using today, and it has the granny apple green that I'm using today. So both of those are in this selection. This is the item code number. Right now, the selections, the assortments are kind of limited, but by the time you see the May 2025 annual catalog, you will see all 50 Stampin' Up! Colors in the two-tone. But I'm going to use the lighter side here, and I am going to put it into my embossing folder. Doesn't matter where you put it. You can put it, you know, absolutely anywhere. I'm going to put it right about there. And I'm going to just turn around and I'm going to emboss it in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So please hold. We will be making this. So please hold. All right, so just simply run it through the embossing folder, nothing else to it, just going to use that as my background, And isn't that beautiful? You could just totally put a greeting on here and you could be done with this card. So really doesn't even need anything extra, but it is a beautiful background. So let's go ahead and just start layering, and then we will stamp the flowers. And I have a great tip for you for mounting and using the flowers. Just making sure that I cut these correctly before I glue them. Yep. Okay. And I like to use liquid glue when I have an embossing folder. So that's just typically what I gravitate to, is the liquid glue. Put a little love inside. And this is Poppy Parade, if I didn't mention that before. I think you can see the difference, right? The light and the dark petal pink. And I do have sort of a true confession here. This is kind of funny. I thought that this was peach pie when I first grabbed it out of my paper drawer of happiness. And when I got to card number 2 and I pulled out the peach pie ribbon, I went, oh, this is not peach pie. And I realized that this is petal pink, but don't they go beautifully together? I think it's a great combination. So I've already scored my thick basic white, so I can just go ahead and use my bone folder to encourage that fold. And there's the base. Very, very simple. Like I said, you could add a greeting and you could be done. But since we have the bundle, I decided I want to show you how to just make a super simple flower with this bundle. Let me just see if there were any questions so far. Leela says, I've never combined Poppy Parade and Petal Pink. Awesome combo. I'm glad you like it. They are Patty colors. It's a Patty combination. So you are going to need an E block, this size block, to mount this stamp. Now, if you're just going to just stamp it, like maybe stamp a background, the tip I'm going to give you doesn't necessarily apply. But if you are going to use the die, this die that cuts out all 3 at once, which we are going to use, if you're going to use the die, and or if you are going to put it in the embossing folder, which we'll do on card number 2, then I have a tip for you for mounting this. So let's do this. All right, so this stamp, let's pretend that it's not mounted yet because I need to show you this tip. Okay, so let's pretend that this was in our case. Okay, it was right here. I took it out of the case and I want to mount it. With photopolymer, it's important to know that if you place it on a block, you are running the risk of getting it, let's say, out of whack. So can you see this little wiggle room? Like if I were to pull this up a little bit and place it down and push it, that's not going to match up with this die. So here is a tip for making sure that your mounted stamp matches your die. Put your die down on your tabletop. I have it cutting side down, so this is the flat side. Now I am going to lay that stamp on top, and I'm sorry, I need to kind of pull it closer to myself so that I can see. So it might not be quite centered in the camera, but I'm just kind of wiggling it around until I see that it is, let's say, like locking in place. Let me see if I can pick it up and show you. So it's centered in there. It's kind of locked in place. Now I need to redo it. But it is centered in that die. It's lined up in that die. Just kind of making sure. I think I've got it. It's hard without putting my head right under the camera, but let me just pull it closer to myself. Okay, I think we have it. So it's now centered in the die so that you know if you stamp it and die cut it, it's going to line up. So then all we need to do is press our E block down and pick up the stamp, and we know when we stamp it and we die cut it, they're going to line up. So very important to use that tip if you are going to be stamping and die cutting. And I selected Poppy Parade. So I'm going to ink. Sorry, that's noisy. I realized I didn't take my glass mat off my table today. Normally I take it off, and I didn't, but that's all right. Totally fine. So there we have the absolutely gorgeous outline image of the poppies, or excuse me, of the hibiscus in Poppy Parade. Oh, I'm glad you liked the tip, everybody. Good. I'm glad. I hope it made sense. And what I decided to do, just because I wanted to keep this as a very, very simple card, I'm going to pick up the Petal Pink with my Petal Pink ink pad. And I have my Petal Pink blending brush. You could also use, if you have daubers or if you have sponges, you could use those. And I'm just going to kind of pat some of the ink, start in the center of each flower and move outward, but I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because I personally like some white around the edge. So all I'm doing is just adding just a tiny bit of ink, just a hint of color. If you wanted to add more ink, you certainly could, but we're going to just try to keep this as a fairly simple, almost monochromatic, not quite, but just a very simple color combo and layout and supplies. So now when we take this die and we line it up on top, I'm just going to grab my little Post-it flags. We line it up on top. This should line up just almost perfectly. I mean, nothing is ever perfect, but that's pretty darn good, right? And then I'm going to die cut these. So hang on while I turn around and die cut. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm destroying the world sometimes. Okay, so I die cut, which means we can just pop these out. And mental note, put your dies back. Don't let them float around on your desk because they will get lost. It's just a thing, right? So look how pretty, how simple, how soft, how sweet. I just think these are lovely. Just lovely. They don't need anything else to them. But in our next two cards, I'll show you how you can kind of step it up and you can actually make these a little fancier. In this die set, the Happy Hibiscus, there is a round label die and a rectangle label die. So here's what they look like when you die cut them. I like those little radiating lines. I think those are cool. It's just sort of a fun, different style. And then I used the "Thanks for being so kind" sentiment stamped on top of that circle. But here's your total bonus content, okay? A long time ago, when this Thoughtful Moments hybrid embossing folder came out, I believe it was a little over a year ago. Was it a year ago? Okay, I don't remember when. Don't trust my brain. It's a hybrid embossing folder, and it is similar to this where you can emboss and die cut at the same time. When this came out, I did a video and I showed you these die cuts that I created with this. So this is using a brayer on either the paper or on the embossing folder, and you get 2 different looks. So when we're done, I will go link to that video if you want to see it. I've already got it linked in tomorrow's blog post, which is also where you're going to find all 3 cards. But I did a video about that and how to use it and how to get all these great die cut greetings with thoughtful moments. So in the meantime, since this came out and since Stampin' Up! Introduced the 2-tone paper, I read that if you want to get an sort of an easier way to do this same idea, use the 2-tone paper, see it's lighter on one side, and then use your sanding block and sand off the top layer of color, and you get these really cool looking greetings that are super easy to make. And you're going to see, I will do the sanding on this one in that background, so you're going to see that in a minute, but it'll make more sense once you see that. So I thought, instead of stamping on this card, what if we used one of these? And I'm almost thinking about maybe a love you. I want to see how that looks. So if we had our flowers and our die cut circle, I think I might like this one. And just that, and then that. I'm just thinking that would be something a little bit different and fun. I wanted to just show you an alternate idea. So that's how I'm going to assemble this card. You could do, whatever you'd like, stamp it, or anything you'd like. But I am going to use foam adhesive sheets because if you know me, you know that's my deal. And I'm just going to put foam adhesive sheets behind my flowers and my circle because I want them to be popped up. How about a smaller one on here? And cutting foam adhesive sheets, if you have a pair of non-stick Teflon type scissors, these are by Westcott. I also have this pair from Staples called True Red. Both of those are fabulous when cutting your foam adhesive sheets. And then your scissors don't get gunky. Yep, Team Foam Adhesive Sheets. That's right, Tammy. Love you. Oh, maybe this one could... Would we want to tuck that one in down there? That's kind of sweet. I like that. Let's do that. Let's be different than the original. Oh, I'm glad. Who said this? Debbie said, your tips save so much time and frustration. I'm glad. Oh, yes. And the Post-it flags, I know. Those are just fabulous, aren't they? So there is card number 1. Just super simple. Emboss the background and stamp and give just a little bit of color to the flowers, and you have a very simple card. And you could make lots of these if you need to, or just make one, doesn't matter, right? You could add embellishments, you could add Wink of Stella, you could do more shading, you can do lots of things. But, and I'll admit this is hard for me, we're making a simple card. So simple card, card number 1. All right, now we're going to step it up a little bit for card number 2. And I wanted to show you what I meant about sanding on this 2-tone cardstock. So for this one, and this is kind of funny. I don't know if you ever do this. In my drawer, I found this card base that I had cut down by an inch because I had made, I don't know, some other design with it, and I had 2 of them. I was like, okay, I'm just going to use those. So it's a standard card base, but I cut an inch of it off, and it doesn't matter. We are just going to put our embossed piece right on top, and the beauty is you're going to see this pretty part underneath when you open it. So it's okay. We can do that, right? So that's the card base, and that's why it's a funny size, because there were 2 of those left in my drawer. And I embossed, just as you saw me do on card 1, I embossed the petal pink 2-tone paper, but with the dark side up. So there's the light side, here's the dark side. The dark side, oh, that sounds funny, right? And I wanted to show you, in case you didn't see, I have a whole video about this 2-tone cardstock and all of the different things, not all the things you can do with it, but lots of things you can do with it. One of the things is that you can use a sanding block, and I apologize for the noise. And because this paper is a white core, do you see what's happening when I sand it? The top layer of the dark petal pink is coming off, and we have all these beautiful highlights now of the white paper that's inside. And if you don't know what I mean about white core, when you tear this paper, you're going to see it's a white inside, and it is also the 2-tone. So the true Stampin' Up! Color on one side, a lighter version on the other. And if you're looking for sanding blocks, this is an old, I don't know how many years ago Stampin' Up! Sold this. It's an old one from Stampin' Up! I did find sanding blocks on Amazon. I put them in my Amazon store. I am an Amazon affiliate. If you use my links, I do earn a small commission. So if you would like that, you can check my blog post tomorrow or my Amazon favorite store, and you'll find sanding blocks. They're not identical to this, but it's what I found. So that is, let's see, kind of our second way to use this embossing folder, hybrid embossing folder. So number 1 is just simply emboss it and stamp and die cut very simply. Number 2 is to emboss and sand so that you get this beautiful highlight. And then I am going to add this to my base card with the hibiscus flowers. I'm going to show you how I stamped and die cut and embossed the flowers so that they are just a beautiful 3D. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that they are kind of embossed? Well, they are embossed, not kind of. They are embossed. They are colored with several colors, and they are die cut, and they, in person, I have to tell you, these are gorgeous. They are stunning. So let me show you how I created those. So we are going to, again, stamp the outline in Poppy Parade, just as I did on the first one. Thank you. Oh, yes, Debbie, I'm glad you like it. And Tammy, you're going to love it when you play with this. Absolutely. All right. So Poppy Parade for the outline is what I used. And then we are going to use the 2-step filler stamp. So these are the 3 stamps that come in the set, but if you want to be able to just stamp all 3 at once, all you have to do is take these 3 stamps, lay them on top of this outline, and do what I showed you in the beginning. Just stick your block right to it and pick them up all at once, and then you will have these all lined up at once. So I love that tip. It's time saving, and it is less frustrating trying to turn and line up 3 different stamps. You're just lining it up once, and it's very obvious where to line it up. So let me show you a couple of examples. This was just simply inking it up with the Poppy Parade, stamping off, and then stamping. So it's very monochromatic. You just have the Poppy Parade in a couple of tones, and it's beautiful, but it's a little, I would say, flat looking. So I experimented, and this is what I ended up liking, and I wanted to show you how I did this. We will get out the peach pie and, oh, I shouldn't have put it away, and the Poppy Parade. I inked the whole 2-step, the solid images, in peach pie. Now, they're very kind of bubbly and really juicy with ink. So here's a tip for you. Take your blending brush, you don't even have to put ink on it, and just pat. And I am going to take away all those little bubbles and all of that extra ink. So now I have a very smooth peach pie background. But now I am going to take my Poppy Parade brush and my Poppy Parade ink, and I'm just going to very lightly add some color, give it a little extra huff because I was talking. Sorry, it's taking me a minute because I'm hovering above the camera trying to look down through the camera and get this lined up. Hopefully it's lining up. And then you have 2 tones of ink, 2 colors. You can see I put a little more poppy on this one than this one, but every one of them will turn out a little bit different. But I think this is really stunning. I love how this looks. And then we, oops, just put my finger in that pad. Close up these. And we're going to use the embossing folder and the dies all at once, because that is what the hybrid embossing folder means. So here is the embossing folder. And here's that same die. We're not going to need the tabs. So you put this inside, and I'm looking through here to line up those 3 flowers, and you're going to feel it. It just sort of like clicks into place, and you're going to feel it like it's not going to move anymore. Okay. And then I am going to take my stamped image. Boy, this is hard holding it under the camera and trying to do this. I'll get it. Hang on. I think I need to trim off this corner a bit. Okay, so put that in till it kind of clicks in place. And then I'm going to line up my stamped image in there. Just kind of double check it. Okay. And then I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to hold that so that it doesn't move. And I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to die cut and emboss. It's going to be all at once. So hang on 1 second. Just trying to cover up my lights there. There you go. And just as a reminder, when you are using a hybrid or a 3D embossing folder, this is your top plate. It comes with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it's a number 4. It's the specialty plate, and you don't have any other plates. The instructions are all on the platform, so all you have is the platform. You have your hybrid or 3D embossing folder with your paper and die inside, and then you have this plate, and that's it. You don't have any other plates in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine sandwich. And that's true whether or not you're cutting and embossing or you're just embossing. Put this back in. So now we have, aren't these pretty? I don't know, can you see that they're embossed? I don't know if you can tell, but you might need to trust me. They're gorgeous. They're really, really beautiful. I just love them. And that is how I made the flowers for this card. And you might notice a little difference between these two. I want to show you one extra little tip you can do. I took a Stampin' Blend and I added some yellow. This is dark lemon lolly. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is your creation. This is your piece of art. You can do whatever you want to do. So that added a little bit of yellow to the peach and the poppy. And I just think I think they're gorgeous. And I think maybe right up here at the top, what if we just kind of highlighted that with some peach? And I think I'm even just gonna I'm just gonna add some peach, right? It's my creation. I can do whatever I want with this. So that was some peach pie. And there we go. That added a little extra color. And then my last fun little bit was to add some Wink of Stella. So I'm just going to shake up my Wink of Stella. And remember, don't ever just squeeze straight on your project. Squeeze over here on your scratch paper, swirl it around, because you don't want that huge blob on your project. And then just give a little bit of shimmer and shine and pretty sparkle with your Wink of Stella. And it just really brings out the color. I just love what Wink of Stella does to a project. So then for our card, I have, there we go. I had die cut a deckled circle for this one. And I think it's really pretty to kind of group your flowers around a circle. It's almost like a wreath type feel, right? Like that. And then I have die cut leaves. So we're going to add the leaves, but I like to stamp first, just in case I make a little mistake. I don't want to try and stamp on top of the embossed part. So I think maybe let's use the stamp in here that says, what does it say? Hang on. It says, thanks for being so kind. So let's add that. And I'm going to skip the ribbon on this card. I want to do this one just a little bit differently and see how it looks without ribbon. So I'm going to, oh my gosh, do you ever feel like you have stuff everywhere? Everywhere. All right. So thanks for being so kind. And then I just kind of need either dimensionals or foam adhesive sheets kind of around the perimeter. For my flowers. Oops, got to take off the paper. Like, that's not sticking. Oh, some days are smoother than others, my friends. I don't know. It feels kind of funny to put the little flower down here. Oh, but I like that. Look, we're going to tuck it right under there. That was cute. Okay, and then we'll go to our leaves. And you might have seen me kind of sneak this in earlier to show you the two-tone Granny Apple Green. Oh, and I used the Garden Green out of that same pack. I forgot. So I used Granny Apple and Garden, but you actually have 4 different colors because it's the two-tone. So when you die cut them and you flip some of the pieces upside down, do you see how you're actually getting, I'll show you that, 4 different colors. Does that show on the camera well? It's actually 4 different colors just out of those 2 pieces of paper. And I thought that all the dimension that brought to these flowered projects was lovely. So I went kind of to the right on this one. I'm going to go over here to the left. And I'm just going to do kind of a dry run, stick a few of them in here, see what I like. Do you like this? I really think that having the 4 color options here is really cool. Let's see. I'm not sure. I don't know about this last one. Kind of. Oh, I know. I'm going to tuck it. Wait, I'm going to tuck it under. Yeah. Okay, I like that. It's a different look than this one. Here I went to the right, here I went to the left, and I like that. And so then what I'm going to do for those flowers, leaves, I know the difference. Trust me, I do. Is I'm going to use, I know, don't faint. I'm going to use dimensionals. And I'm leaving these here because I like where they are. And I'm going to do what my friend Kirsten calls as a sneak attack. So I'm going to put the dimensional on my little old pokey tool that I use for all these sticky projects. Sometimes the backing comes off easier. Okay, and I'm just going to sneak them under these leaves because that way I don't have to take them out and redo the placement. Because I like where they are. Then I think I need 1 on that last one. All right, there. And there we go. Oh, I really love this. I'm really liking this. Do you like this? Yes, the two-tone paper is amazing, Nell. Thank you, Debbie. Yep, love that two-tone paper. Oh, whose birthday? I missed that. Oh, John, happy birthday. So glad that you are here. Happy birthday. Oh, Leela, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. There was... oh my goodness, Debbie has them outside her kitchen window. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the live comments. Give me 1 minute. Oh, good. Leela, I am so glad that the placement of those stamps on the blocks was helpful to you. So glad. I like to always share all the tips that I figure out and learn. So, kind of think that it needs some gems. You can see I put some in color gems in the center and a couple up here. I wonder if just these transparent dots. Oh, no, I don't like that. So there's a tip. I've shared this before. If you take your embellishments on the clear sheet that they come in and you lay them down on your project before you stick them on, you can totally see if you like them on your project or not. I thought I would love that, and I don't. Let's just grab a few others here. Maybe those. No, not gold. Oh, those are like the best default right there. Ooh, wait, maybe this. Hang on. I think I might like this. And by the way, these fabulous, they're called passport vinyl envelopes. They're for a passport. These are in my Amazon store. Oh my gosh, these are just one of my most favorite things that I use. And I love to organize my embellishments in these. Yeah, these are pretty because these have a little bit of a yellowish tone to them. They're perfect. These are called the Earth Tone Shimmer Gems. The green would have actually been really pretty too, but it would have really stood out. I think the subtleness of these is nice. Yeah, those are beautiful. You can tell I don't use these a ton because I have a lot still in my pack, but I'm really liking that. And I have all of these. I have 2 containers on my desk, so I just flip through them and then I can see what I would like to use on a project. So that's project number 2. Here was number 1, if you're tuning in late. Very simple, emboss the background, super simple color with some blending brushes on the flowers. That's idea number 1. Number 2 is to actually use the hybrid embossing folder with the dies and the embossing and the 2-step ink of the flowers. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is using Stampin Blends to color in the flowers. So I know that we are running really long here. And if you are not into Stampin Blends, if you don't care to stick around, you don't have to, but I want to show you how I did some Stampin Blend coloring with the black outline to add the flowers to this card. Oh yes, Kim loves those passport sleeves too. Oh, Terry likes this 3rd one. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, Carrie says, looks like the flowers in her garden. Oh, I am jealous. Thanks, Robin. I'm glad you liked the tips. Thank you, everybody. So let's look at number 3. And I'll show you what I did with the blends. And I should mention, by the way, if you're watching me live, today is Friday, November 15th. This is the last day of the 3-day sale. Stampin' Blends are included in the sale. Ink pads are on sale, markers are on sale, refills are on sale, Stampin' Blends are on sale, cardstock is on sale, and designer paper and bundles from the annual catalog are on sale. So if you're watching live November 15th and you need some extra blends or you need replacements or you need ink pads, refills, whatever, today is your day to grab those. Just saying. So I wanted to remind you that when I stamp and color with my blends, I like to kind of use my imagination at first and grab colors I think I will like, and I always swatch them on my paper first before I start coloring, and I label them. and then I start coloring with them. So here you can see this kind of monochromatic pinks into reds combination, Melon Mambo, Flirty Flamingo, Poppy Parade. And then I decided, let me kind of go into the peachy, warmer colors. So I added Peach Pie and Pretty in Pink, which has sort of an orange undertone. And this, I think, is a pretty realistic looking color combo for a hibiscus. And then I decided, let's add yellow. So I added Lemon Lolly, Flirty Flamingo, Poppy Parade, and Lemon Lolly. And I came up with those. And then I decided, let's just add all the colors. So that's all the colors. And remember, there are no rules. You can do whatever you want. This is your project, and you can color anything you want to color, any colors you want to color, and there's no right and wrong. So I have the image that I colored, or excuse me, I stamped with the Memento Black ink. You want to make sure that you are using Memento Black ink, or an ink that is safe to use with alcohol markers. If you use a pad that is for water-based coloring, it will bleed. So you don't want to do that. So I think, just because we have all the beautiful Patty colors here and ready, I am just going to do a variety, and I'm just going to have fun with this. There are different ways that you can color with your blends. One of them is start with your lightest color and then add your darker colors. The other way that you can go is to start with your darker shadows and work towards your lighter colors. And guess what? There's no right or wrong. You can do anything you'd like, and you can experiment. So I started with light Lemon Lolly, and I blended in the dark Lemon Lolly. Then I'm going to go to light Peach and just sort of work from the center out into the yellow. And that's going to blend. It's going to blend beautifully. And then dark Peach, just kind of in the center, darkening that center. Now I'm going to let that dry for a minute while I work on a pink one, because I want to add Poppy Parade over here. But if I do it right now, it's just going to bleed. And I want it to have kind of these darker areas that stay dark. So I'm going to let this one just dry and blend. And let's move over here. Let's do, here's where I'm going to look at my little cheat sheet here. I think I'm going to start with the Flirty Flamingo. I think I like that. Oh, that's Pretty in Pink. That's why you always have to look, right? So flirty, flirty. Okay. So I'm just going to do some light Flirty Flamingo into dark Flirty Flamingo. And then I think I'll just add some light Poppy Parade. I do have a tip for you. If you start coloring and you think, oh my gosh, I just ruined that, I don't like that, let it sit a little bit and come back to it and look at it again. Because as these colors blend and soften and soak into the paper, you're going to see them just kind of work their magic. And I'm pretty sure you're going to love what you did. So now we'll go back to this one. So with my light Poppy Parade, I'm going to use these little lines that they have already drawn and just sort of go over them a bit, and then fill in just a little bit, kind of where the petals might overlap, or where I think maybe the petal is kind of curling under. And then my dark Poppy Parade, I want some darker contrast, and I'll color in that little middle part. And then I will just come back, I think I'll use dark Lolly and blend just a little bit where I put those darkest colors. Just a little bit, and we'll let that sit, and then we'll come back and look at that. And then this one, what if we get really crazy bold and we go with the Melon Mambo? Oh yeah. Oh, and I think I need to do dark because that's hardly showing up at all. So let's do the dark melon. Oh yeah, look at look at that. What a fun combo. Let's do the middle dark. Let's do a little bit where these are folded over. And then I'll just go back to the light flamingo that we used in the beginning and just blend out a little bit. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of the dark peach. And then just a little bit of the, what is this, light Lolly. That's it. Okay, I'm going to make myself stop. Stop. Debbie says, Teacher of the Year award. You're so sweet. Terry says, makes it look like a breeze. Well, it is. I mean, it is fun, right? It's just fun to combine the colors. Thank you, Janet. I'm glad you're going to have fun using this. Thanks, Terry. Thank you, everybody. So then you could, if you just want to die cut these, you could just die cut them. But I love how this looks when you emboss and die cut. So I'll just do this one more time, just kind of clicking that into place. I think I need to cut that corner off. Hang on. Okay. Restart. Okay, so kind of click that into place and then line up. This feels really awkward, but you just have to trust the process and just move it until you see it line up. Do you see that that lined up in there? Okay, and then I'm going to close it up and I'm going to turn around and put that through the machine. It's the Stampin' Up Stampin' Die Cut machine. Stampin' Emboss, excuse me. Stampin' Emboss machine. Okay, I'll get it right. Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I knew I wasn't saying that right. And I have to tell you, this is kind of funny. When I was in Utah in September for the $3 million Achiever trip, we made a card. Oh my gosh, wait, can I find it really quick? Oh man, where is that card? Oh man. Oh, here it is. I found it. We made this card. I know I've already blogged this, but we made this card as a make and take, stamping with Shelly and Sarah. What could be more fun, right? And that was the first time that we got to see this whole bundle. So we made this card. And when we were die cutting and embossing, I said, oh my gosh, this Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine works like a breeze. Mine, I felt like I was really having to crank it. And so about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I treated myself to a new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I just have to tell you, it is like amazing. It runs through like butter. And so I guess after several years of daily use, it just needed replacing. So I did. Oh my gosh, what a difference. What a difference. It was amazing. So anyway, just saying, after many years, I think that sometimes things just like wear out and you just need to get a new one. You know, like appliances, phones, cameras, lots of things need replacing, right? So there we go. Those are the beautiful options. Well, 2 options for using your blends and then creating just a beautiful rainbow of colors with your flowers. So, quick review. Put the Patty colors over here. With the Happy Hibiscus Bundle, you can be simple. You can just do a simple background, embossed, simple flowers with a tiny bit of color. You can do sanding on the 2-tone paper when you emboss. And you can use the 2-step stamped images to quote unquote color in your flowers, or you can do actual coloring in. So those are my 3 ways that I used this bundle. And I hope that you enjoyed those. Thank you, Terry. Thanks, Julie. Yes, Debbie, I know. It was definitely a game changer with my arthritic hands and wrists as well. Oh, good. Terry's going to pull out her bundle and play this weekend. Oh, Catherine, this isn't a blends holder. This is just a tray. And I'm actually blogging, or no, excuse me. In my customer newsletter today, I'm actually sending out a picture of my blends holder. This is just for the video. I just pull out the colors that I'm using for a video. It's just a tray. It's not my blends holder. Thank you, Donna. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Susan. Thank you, everybody. You are all so kind. I hope that you will enjoy using your Happy Hibiscus bundle. I should mention, as I did in the beginning, that this is part of the online exclusive release, which means it is a while supplies last. This is not in a catalog, so it doesn't have like a lifespan. It's just while supplies last. So I wouldn't wait too long to grab this if I were you. I would make that purchase fairly soon. And if you want help with your colors, then the Color Coach wheel is a fabulous tool. If you would like to see all of these cards, they will be on my blog tomorrow. So that will be November 16th. And you can get the colors and the supplies and everything that I used. Actually, that's on my blog today. So if you need to check out the colors and whatnot, it's at pattystamps.com today. Right now it's on there. But yeah. Oh, I love this. You know me and flowers. I just love this. You're welcome, everybody. You are welcome. I'm so glad everybody enjoyed it. Any questions while I'm here still? I'm happy to answer questions if you have them. There is a really long delay on my feed over here, so I'm going to hang out a minute and wait to see if you have questions. Hey, Shirley. Love you. She is my mom number 2. So glad that you're here. And hello to Janine if she's watching with you. Yeah, I'm just going to hang out a minute and see if there's any questions because there's a super long delay on my live feed. Thanks, Nell. Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Julie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lynette and Kelly. Thanks, Eva, Stacy, Catherine, Kathy, Tanya, Anita. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Robin. All right, I don't see any questions yet, so I will try to come back and look through to see if there were any questions later. But I hope you enjoyed the tips and the lessons today and the inspiration. I really hope that you will have fun with this bundle, and I will see you all next week. Bye.